You are now locked in to the Sitting Down with the Sisters podcast.
Hi guys! Hello everybody!
Welcome back to Sitting Down with the Sisters podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Ayo.
I'm Ashley.
And I'm Temmie.
Welcome back.
Are you seeing the coziness? You know what that means. You know what season?
It's that season. Winter's around the corner, guys. You know I've been feeling
Winter
so
is
cold.
here. It's not round the corner.
Like my house, I'm literally
shivering.
I'm wearing my robe
at work.
everywhere.
I'm shivering because they have the AC on.
Oh, the AC's on.
It's time to bring those jackets out.
Oh, I've been wearing my puffer jacket.
Yeah.
I'd be cold.
You see it on now.
24/7.
So.
Oh, there you go.
I'm cold now.
Ashley's cold right now.
I can't believe it.
Yeah.
That switch up.
It's mad.
Like we wasn't ready.
It's giving global warming.
It's giving Christmas is in 2 months. Get ready.
Literally.
Right
oh my
now.
God, I can't wait.
As in, some of you should already have your Christmas tree up. Like you're late.
Wow.
Really?
Tell me, have you gone shopping yet?
No, it's
you're
too
late.
early for my household. Sorry.
Have you gone shopping?
What do you mean? We put our tree up the day before
Have you
Christmas.
gone shopping?
Who does that?
No, that's late.
That's what we do in our household because no one can
Why
be,
haven't you gone shopping?
because no
Like,
one
you're
can be
actually
bothered.
late.
What do you mean? Have you gone shopping?
Yeah, I
You've
have.
done your Christmas
I've
shopping.
got both of your
You've
gifts
got all your
already.
gifts.
Wow,
Not all my
you're
gifts.
so
She's
kind.
lying.
I know. You're so kind.
How do you know I'm lying?
Because you haven't.
Don't put me down.
Have you bought your gifts?
This one is already putting
Is
black
your
on
tree
me
up?
down enough.
Is your tree up?
Yeah, it is.
He's up.
So if I go to your house right now,
Yeah,
we'll go
let's go.
after work.
We'll go.
We'll go confirm.
After work, yeah.
After this, we're working.
Ah.
You got me.
Trying to catch her. Anyway,
No, this girl.
mate,
I'm done.
there's a part of me, that's just like, let's just talk.
Yeah.
To be
Yeah.
fair, because I'm just like, I'm
Let's
tired.
go into
guys, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I've been going through it.
Really?
I have.
What
I haven't
was it
yet told you. I'll
Okay.
tell you.
What is
Yeah.
it?
Obviously, I'll tell you the real things.
Oh, you don't want to
after,
tell them. You want
but genuinely, mentally, I don't know what's wrong with me at the moment. I've just not. But I told you last week.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. I thought it was something.
Oh no,
else.
same thing.
Oh, yeah.
Exact same thing, to be fair. But I've realized. Okay, we're gonna talk about what we're gonna talk about, the guys. But just bear with us, Sha.
Yeah, we'll
Anyway,
get there.
Let's waffle a bit.
Get in
Let's
there,
talk
get in
small.
there, get in there.
I've
better.
noticed, even though this is my favorite time of the year. Actually, no, it's not that I've noticed I get sad at this time of the year. I've just noticed that I've been sad a lot more recently, or if not sad, overwhelmed. And I don't know who can relate to this, but maybe somebody will relate to it. I just feel like I want to share it. I know for me, like I've struggled with my mental health, like everybody does, but I struggle with it sometimes. And when I'm having a good stretch, I sometimes forget that I struggle with my mental health. So recently, as I've been struggling with it, it's just hit me like, oh, why are you sad?
It hits you 10 times
It hits me
harder.
because I'm just like, why am I sad? And I don't like being sad because I'm not really a sad person.
Especially like you just said, you know, when you've just gone through a phase where you haven't focused on it for too long, where things seemed okay,
Yeah.
and then it just
And then
hits
when it
you and
comes back,
out of
yeah.
nowhere.
Yeah, so that's just where I've been recently, guys. So if I feel like my spirit is a little bit different. So if you can pick up on
Has
that,
anyone noticed that?
that's why.
Has anyone told you?
No.
But,
But I just
That's the
feel
thing.
it.
I've realized as well, like where we're all similar is even if we're feeling low or down, like,
People can't really tell.
We're extra intentional about making sure that we don't show that to other people.
It's been my defense.
But even
mechanism.
so, like it's on our mind and we're conscious about it and we're thinking, oh my days, can people tell? Like you're smiling a lot wider, like you're trying
Do you
to
know
make
what's crazy?
sure.
I don't really care. Well, it's not that I don't care. I'm not really thinking if people pick up because I know that they don't. But I don't really want them to be fair. I just think
That's why I do it, because I don't want people to.
I don't want people. I've always dealt with issues by myself. I prefer to. It's not healthy all the time. I'm learning to speak about it when I'm in the middle of it. Most times I usually speak about what I'm going through after,
yeah.
because that's just how it works for me. But I've realized like there's a lot of healing that happens when you speak about it when you're going through it. It also takes you out of your head.
Yes.
More. So yeah. It's okay if you're feeling sad at the moment, guys, because
Yes.
honestly, life is life, and sometimes you can't control life. You know,
No, it's true. And there's such a thing as seasonal depression.
there is
As well, where when the seasons change, I think people become more reflective, especially at this time of the year when like Christmas is coming up and it's more centered around family. Some people don't have good relationships with their family. They don't even have family to begin with. So it hits everyone differently. So just be mindful of the people around you. Check in on your friends. Like don't just check up on the people that you're very, very close to. Like check up on people that you don't speak to that often and you just have like a hi bye conversation. Just take the time out and just be like, are you okay? Like, how is everything? How are you? Because you don't know the difference that will make in someone's life.
Yeah, and take time for yourself. I think one thing about me is I don't really stop. Like, I don't take time for myself. I don't really give myself grace. More time, I just carry on, keep calm and carry on, keep calm and carry on. I don't sometimes acknowledge the depth of my feeling, or I'll tell myself, oh, it's not that serious. Like, why? Like, you almost just try to like speak yourself. Like, I think it's very important to speak yourself out of negativity, to be fair, because there's power in your words, but you also have to acknowledge when you're sad and just be honest with yourself and know that maybe you're not operating how you usually are. Do the needful things to take care of yourself. I think that's what I've been trying to do recently. It's helping. So, and also like manage people's expectations. I feel like I'm the type of person that I give a lot of myself to everybody around me. And not that people don't care about me. I know people care about me, but I don't know how to explain it. I check up on people, I feel like, more than I'm checked on, but it's not because people don't care. It's just because I pour out so much.
It's not reciprocated to the way, like your level. And not that it needs to be, but
more like in the amount. I think I give out a lot.
Yeah.
In general, that's just
so I'm just sometimes tired a lot. And I've realized, I feel like it's been like this for a while though, because I used to be a lot more like messaging people, how are you? Are you okay? Like, I was a lot more like that maybe like a couple years ago. I feel like in the last couple of years, it's slowed down. And I've become a lot more withdrawn from doing that. And I don't like that because I feel I don't know, honestly. I genuinely just feel like I'm kind of just... I'm just here, innit?
You can't pour from an empty cup.
You can't. And I think that's what I'm realizing is like the reason I probably haven't been able to do it a lot more recently is because I don't have it to give to people. I think one thing that's been helping me is my youth fellowship coming back. That's been really helpful because being around like-minded people, specifically Christians, really energizes me and really encourages me to do better.
Your spirit.
It does encourage me to see and have better perspective, and it just shows me how much God is present in the midst of everything. But yeah, I just wanted to share that.
That's so
life.
It has a way, innit?
It really does have a way. And everything's going to be fine, guys. Don't worry. I'm all right as well. Don't worry. Don't stress.
I'll do my thing.
No, because honestly, like, I feel like sometimes you say that you're sad. I feel like people are not realistic about the fact that you're not always 100%. Like, no one is. And I feel like it's so... Because of the way people portray their lives, it's very easy to assume that people are not...
People are okay.
Yeah,
I think that's one thing that annoys me, especially because like I'm someone where I can be very hyper loud. So when I'm not, it's like they automatically assume. When sometimes like I have my moments when I'm quiet, I'm mellow. But if I'm not like that, if I'm not how I display myself,
it would seem as
all
if
the time it seems
wrong.
like, oh yeah, something's wrong. Like, are you okay? And then it makes me feel like, oh, I'm actually okay. Like, is something wrong?
That
like,
they start to plant things in your
yeah,
head.
I'm like, oh, is everything actually okay? When really and truly, I don't have to be. You don't have to be people's expectations. You don't have to meet people's expectations all the time.
You can't. The thing about being an expressive person is that people, if you're not on 10, they assume you're what you said, you're on 0. But even in that, like, I don't understand how people, but especially if you're a human, yeah, I don't understand how you, knowing yourself that you go like this, that you're not always. How can you expect other people to? And it's not that because they're sad, because you, even when you're not sad, sometimes you're more withdrawn. Sometimes you might not want to talk. Sometimes I don't understand how people can't comprehend the fact that
I think it's
people
an
have
instant reaction. It's not something they take in before speaking out about it. Because if it is something that you think about, you can then think of other options as to why that person might feel the way they're feeling. But because when you see someone that's naturally always, excited and they're not that way, your natural instinct is to ask, "Oh, what's wrong?" Like you're not the same. So I think that's where that could be coming from.
And they don't mean ill intent.
No,
like,
of course.
It's better to ask. It's better to be, like they say, better to be safe than to be sorry. So then do you take it personal then? Like, say do you think people should take it personal?
No, you should never.
No, as in like, you know, if you say, for example, if you're going through something and then you've isolated yourself now, and then someone then messages you because they're like annoyed or upset or angry that, you know, you haven't checked up on them, and that they kind of feel like is abandoned the word?
That's
yeah,
true.
you've kind of not abandoned, but you've kind of just, you haven't been there.
I'd rather they
And then-
speak to me about
I'd rather
it.
you tell me, but when I'm there, do you thank me for being there?
Ooh.
Right.
I'm sorry.
So then I feel like, okay,
Oh,
what does
God.
that conversation look like then? Because I feel like the ideal situation would be for you both to find a common ground
100%.
and for both of you guys to like be honest and vulnerable and transparent, and for you to say, okay, look, I haven't been all the way there, and then obviously then, you know, the other person gets to express their feelings as well, and there's just a mutual respect there. But we're living in the times that we're in, that's not always how it goes. So how do you even navigate or manage that conversation?
Yeah, exactly. I personally feel like you should never live from a place of offense. Like, it's not good to get offended by every single thing that happens to you.
Great
A
point.
lot of the time when people express, oh, like, where have you been? Like, you haven't said hi recently, whatever. Like, as much as it might hurt because you're like, yeah, because I'm not okay, that's why I haven't said hello. It's not, you don't need, I agree, you shouldn't be offended, but in the same breath, I think sometimes people don't understand how much they take from other people, and they don't realize that in taking, they're not. In our relationship, I think it works very well because as we take, we also give. Like, and it's not disproportionate. I don't know. Like, it's not. There's not one person giving and then someone's taking like extreme. Like we have our times
There's
when
a
somebody's
balance.
really low and you need to be there for them, but it's balanced. I never feel like it's too, I don't know, it's too disproportionate. But like with a lot of some people, they take a lot, but they don't really add like at all.
Yeah.
And like obviously they might not be aware of that. But it's something you need to become. I personally think it's something that as you get older, you need to be more cognizant of, because everybody is going through stuff, regardless of whether they seem like the person that's always okay. And like, I think it's good to develop the practice of when you want to go and tell somebody something that you're going through, ask them like, are you in a good place for me to tell you something?
Ooh, yes.
Like, are you all right? Like, can because a lot of the time, I'm not gonna lie, I'm someone that somebody can come to me, I don't know, I could have been crying 2 minutes ago and you're just telling me everything bad that's happened to you, and then I'm just there like, I don't even know how to react.
And you feel even like it's almost like a heavy load on top of
They've dumped.
already heavy.
Yeah. And we spoke about
They've
emotional dumping actually on the pod, but yeah, like I just think it's good to be a bit intentional about that, because more time, nobody wants to just be offloaded on and not really cared for. Obviously we all serve people. I like to serve, like, and I feel like that's one thing God has given me the ability to do, is just take on lots of different people's like problems and stuff, and I don't mind it, but there's a time when it gets heavy.
It does.
Absolutely, I agree.
That's what there needs to be understanding as well. Not just in friendships, but even with like family members, relationships. I feel like if you don't have like the basic understanding of what you said, that everyone goes through something, but just also acknowledging that you can't change people into what you want them to be, or create a friendship that's only convenient for you. Like, there's gonna be days where there's times where we don't speak every single day. Like, we understand we're not in sixth form anymore, like where we were on our phones till like 2 a.m. We have jobs, like we have to get up early, 9 a.m. starts.
Like,
life is life in the cost of living crisis is crisising.
It's really crisising.
It's crisis, it's screaming.
Yes.
So I'm not like, obviously, of course, like I'm in a position where I always want to be there for my loved ones as much as I can.
Always.
Like, I always want to be that safe place for other people. But at the same time, I know there's going to be moments where I can't. And that's not intentional. It's not with ill intent. It's just life.
It's just what it is.
That's how it is.
But yeah,
It's life. I didn't even know we'd go into this. Like,
it was not planned at all. We had a whole
but
topic
you never
in
know
mind.
who this is going to bless, because maybe this
Yeah.
is where the Holy Spirit wanted the conversation to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can have our own plans.
Yeah.
The Lord is the one that establishes them.
Basically.
Do you know what I mean?
I've got a question.
Yeah.
Girls.
Go for it, babe.
As you've gotten older, or even just as the years gone on, do you feel like there's new things you've noticed about yourself that you didn't know before?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Do you have anything?
To me, that's what I define as growth.
Yeah.
Do you want to
That's what I
share?
define as growth. Okay, so this is something I'll probably have to think about.
Yeah, exactly. That's fine. Do you want me to speak?
Yeah, do you want to go first?
Do you know one thing I've noticed, guys? I feel like I knew it, but I've seen it in HD this year. I have a bit of a control problem.
Okay.
And
Why'd
like,
you say that?
I just think because I've grown up a certain type of way, I've been responsible for a certain amount of things. I have this innate way of dealing with things where if I don't do it, I feel like it won't get done properly. And it's a problem. I'm aware it's a problem. I've dealt with it in some ways, like in some capacities of my life, I've dealt with it in a good way and I've channeled it into better behaviors. But I'm realizing that it's a lot more than I knew before. Yeah. And like...
What made you realise that?
So many things. Like, I don't know, like being single made me realize it. One, just life happening to me just made me realize it. Like I was just like, oh, okay. I don't know. One thing I've realized is also I don't really know how to enjoy stuff because I'm thinking too far forward.
Like you don't enjoy the present.
Which is part of the control problem. I feel like I also don't have. I think it all links. Sorry,
That's all right.
because the thing is now vibrating.
Does it stop?
It stopped. One thing I've realized is that I've always felt like I have a bad memory, but I feel like I know why I have. Like I can see how it all links with me not enjoying the moment because I don't remember stuff. Like I don't remember things in detail. Like I can remember it as a like as a event, but to remember every part of the day, to remember this is what happened when I woke up. I don't remember stuff like that. I don't remember like maybe the outfit that I was wearing. I don't remember stuff, and I don't know why.
Why do you think that is? Like,
I've heard that a lot of the time when you have memory issues, it is because of trauma. I don't know why, but I don't understand.
I've heard that before.
Like obviously you kind of suppress things that happen to you, or like I don't know, you just develop a habit of just you don't remember stuff. So I don't know specifically why mine's like that, but anyway, that's what I've learned.
Yeah, but it could also go back to what you said originally about not just being present in the moment. You know, when you're not present in the moment, you don't absorb the things around you. So if the memory, if you were to think back as to what happened like 2 days ago, because you weren't present at that time, it's hard to come up with those answers to remember them. But yeah, and like, do you know what's interesting about that? I am a present person. So like when I'm chilling with my friends, when I'm out, whatever, I'm a present person. And like I have a good time. But so it's not in those, I feel more like in relational things or like in spiritual, for instance, in my spiritual life, in dating people, I'm thinking too far forward. Yeah. Like I'm not thinking about today. So because in like life stuff, like when we go out and have a good time, I'm there. Like it's not like I'm not enjoying that. I do enjoy that. I think it's in more, when I would call it like monumental life things, I might think too far forward. But yeah, that's something I've learned. Oh wow.
What about you, Tim?
Oh, do you know, whilst I was talking, a lot of things were racing through my mind, like just trying to figure out what is it that I recently noticed and observed about myself. One of the things that came up is that this sounds a bit weird, but I'm not as confident as I portray myself to be. Because a lot of people see me and think I'm a very confident person, and I get why they think that, because, you know, I think I carry myself in a certain way. And in me observing that I'm not the most confident person, I've also noticed I can be socially awkward.
Oh,
babe,
you're so cute.
It's adorable. Let me not be patronizing.
Your girl is socially awkward.
I don't think you're socially.
You're not gonna see it.
No, but I see everything.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think you would.
But I know what you mean.
Yeah,
I do know what you mean.
I'm socially awkward in a sense where I've noticed that, and the thing is, maybe the reason why I didn't notice this earlier on is because I think it's just a thing that's just occurring. It's just becoming more prevalent recently. So, for example, there'll be, let's say I'm with a group of my friends and we're all going to the same location. I feel like I'll probably be one of the last people to just, of course you have to be yourself and just be yourself and do what you need to do, but I start to then overthink how I come across. I start to overthink what I'm gonna say when I'm in these social settings. Like, I just don't want things to be awkward. I want to have a free-flowing conversation with people. So sometimes I find myself pre-planning my conversations. That is not cute at all. And
that's normal.
No, and I think it's a bit. A lot of people do it, but a lot of people do it. But obviously, because I don't know the extent of which people do it, because it's all in the head. Yes. I think I overdo it. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think I just pre-plan a bit too much conversations I have. Even I notice it sometimes at work as well. Like, someone could say something, and a normal person would just have a natural reaction and respond back. But with me, I might not react that way, or I might not say those things, and I'm just like, oh. and then it doesn't, the atmosphere is not awkward, but then I start to overthink that, I could maybe I could have said that, or maybe I could have done this, maybe. And I think the more I realize it's come from, and it's not a bad thing at all, it's come from the way people have perceived me on first impressions. So growing up from secondary school to even maybe primary school, but we were kids in primary school, right? Secondary school, sixth form, definitely uni. Even after uni, like, first impressions of me have never really been the greatest.
You're so cute.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And honestly, I don't mind, because at the end of the day, even though first impression is important,
it's not the truth.
Everyone still knows it's not the be all end all, because there's more to us than that. First impressions is not, it doesn't mean this is you as a whole. It's not a holistic view of somebody.
Not at all.
So that's fine. But yeah, that's where I think it all comes from. So when I realized people did not have the best first impression of me, I think I then tried to change that around to be maybe a little bit more friendly and approachable, but at the same time, I'm also telling myself that I need to be me regardless. Like, I don't want to change who I am. I don't want to seem as if I'm comfortable in my unapproachableness, but I'm not. But do you know what I mean? It's also a thing where I don't want to overly do it where I'm not myself anymore. So it's just about just going with how it comes. Like, whatever I'm being offered, I just work with it, I don't want to just...
So wait, just a question. Do you think that backfired a little bit?
What
in
backfired?
The sense where, because you went out of your way to make sure that you weren't like that in those settings, do you kind of think it planted a seed of now where you're now having to plan your conversations and to make sure you're not that way in those settings?
Yeah, if I got your question right, I think what you're trying to say is, me knowing how people perceive me, have I then tried to...
Because you now want to control that and change it in a way. Do you think it's now planted a seed of, I don't want to use the word insecurity, but where you're now conscious of it? You're more aware of it.
Yeah. I had a phase, I'd say. I had a phase where I was very conscious of it, where I was just like, I don't want people thinking I'm a little bitch.
Yeah. And you then feel like you have to overcompensate.
I feel like I have to overcompensate for being a little bitch.
I realised that you're not.
You're not. The thing is, those perceptions people have.
Those are some of the reason why I'm using that specific word. Those are some of the words that some friends have told me that they perceived of me at first.
And that's why I asked.
And that's fine. I don't mind. But I think you're being honest.
Yeah, it's dangerous to.
You're gonna say that because you know me in and out.
Yeah, but that's why it's rubbish.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's actually that's why
people
the reason why I asked that question is because I just want to make people aware of, you have to be careful not to project on people, and just because you have a certain, again, back to the expectation thing, just because you have a certain expectation of someone and they don't live up to it, it doesn't make them a bad person.
No. Can I speak?
Or
sorry,
it doesn't mean that they're not your, or like they're not your person. Everybody's different.
Yeah.
Everyone's not going to go into a setting and be loud and be the same and be that person like hey, Snapchat.
Yeah.
Some people are walking to do you know what I mean? Some people walk into a room
and they want to observe.
It doesn't make them rude. Everybody's different. And again, going back to having that understanding, growing up and being mature, you have that understanding that not everyone is going to be the same, and that's okay. Not everybody needs to be on your level. Not everybody, and if they're not on your level, it doesn't make them a bad person. It doesn't make them less than you. You're not superior to them. It's actually okay,
and just
and
to,
it's dangerous.
yes,
You're actually planting seeds of insecurity in people. Because imagine like if you weren't strong-minded how you are, to say that you don't want to change yourself. That's why you have people behaving in ways that's not them, how they were raised and how they are. They're changing themselves. They're conforming to society and changing themselves to be someone they're actually not.
Basically, just to fit in or just to fit a certain agenda. But what I wanted to say was, I didn't want to make it seem as though these people that have told me their first impressions of me are bad people. I'm still friends with a lot of them, if not most of them now. But you know when you have conversations, when you have conversations with your friends, like, what was your first impression of me? I'm just saying, majority of the time, it's usually the same, stuck up, like I just don't look as friendly, not approachable, and I don't think it's ever come from a place of negativity. It's never come from a place to hurt me. It's just genuinely just how they felt in that moment, and it's always just been like a first impression thing. I think the second impression or just getting to know me after has never been negative. It's just, you're a great person, you're a great friend, you're approachable, you're lovely. It's been positive after that, but it's just that first impression that I felt like I have to compensate for.
It's just so interesting to me because I just find it, especially with Tem, because obviously since year 7.
Guys, remember you're talking as people that know me.
But I'm saying, that's why I'm saying it's interesting. Like, I'll explain why. Yeah. So obviously, I'm not speaking to the people that are like she's still friends with and stuff, because obviously I know that I can understand it. Obviously, when people have first impressions of me, it's not always good either. Most times, actually,
we've all experienced.
Let's be honest. But with the reason it surprises me with Tem is because obviously I remember when I first saw her. Like I literally remember when I first saw her, I didn't have that impression, and the thing is,
you met me at a different point in life.
But even secondary school, say for the early days of secondary school, Terry's been getting it for years. The same sort of vibe, and I'm not saying, I need to be clear, I'm not speaking about people she's friends with. I'm speaking about in general. A lot of the time, the way people have received Tem is defo projection, because one, she's a pretty girl.
Projection.
It's defo projection.
It is.
One, she's a pretty girl, so it's always like, oh, how can she be pretty and nice? I've noticed that with her. It's how can she be pretty and a nice person?
It's like the two cannot
she can't exist as two of those at the same time.
Right.
And so that's why for me, I'm just like, sometimes it's projection because you're confused. More time as well, you're upset. You're looking at her, you probably, I don't like using jealous because I feel like jealousy, people love to throw jealousy out there. Not everybody is jealous, actually. Sometimes they're just confused or they're insecure.
Yeah.
Do you get? So that's why for me it's confusing with her. Obviously, everybody knows she's lovely, but like, whatever.
There's no basis to any of the, like,
that's why it always confuses me.
Like none whatsoever.
Because I've met girls that are horrible people. Like I've met them, and more time
you have.
They might not have the same first. People don't have that first impression of them, and I'm like, you don't know how to judge character. Because for me, like more time when I see a lot of girls, like I don't automatically think very negative things of them. The only people that I have, I believe I have the gift of discernment more. So like, more time I'm right. I'm not gonna lie. When people are bad, but more time you don't know. So I don't feel like having very strong bad opinions of people is also just a weird one for me.
You haven't even had a conversation.
It's very strange to me. Like for me as well, when people have had bad impressions of me, it's always okay. With mine, it's that she's probably, you can't speak to her, she's rude, and those are the vibes that I get. And it's interesting because I think I'm such a loving person. I've always found it so interesting because I'm like, you just don't know.
And at the end of the day, remember how we absorb information is different. For example, if you come into a room full of people are going to take you in different ways. Because at the end of the day, what your behavior is what they're seeing. We're all seeing the same thing, but how we internalize it, how we take it is different. One person, let's say Aya's being her, usual social bubble, just social butterfly, talking to different people, saying hello. Someone could see that, oh, she's really friendly. Another person could take it in like, why is she so loud? Another person would take it like she's doing too much. Do you know what I mean? So everyone internalizes things completely.
That's so true.
Do you know what I mean? So
and I realized it's
got nothing to do with who you are. What you do.
That's the thing.
And you have to remember that.
And just one last thing on that, I just feel like a lot of the time people are uncomfortable when people are 100% themselves.
That's what I was going to say.
Because one thing about me, you can have as many impressions about me as you want. I don't ever change how I am. And I'm grateful for that because I know it's not easy to be like that. People do tell me it's not easy to
not easy to be yourself.
The reason I became like that is because I had to. It was almost like fight or flight for me. Secondary school was not easy for me. It was the only way I knew how to be was to either embrace my total self or become a finished person.
That from a young age.
So I've been able to, I think that's why it's come so naturally to me. And And do you know what it is? I can completely sympathize, because I can see when people, they just want to be themselves, but they're scared because they're like, if I'm myself,
gonna be judged.
People like me. Will
I still fit into with this crowd?
Yeah,
that's what I was gonna say. Literally, being your true self, it actually triggers.
Oh, it triggers
certain people. Like
time.
it triggers what's in here. Like what's for some people.
Yeah,
because they can't do that. So.
Yeah, like if you feel
and it's sad. It's actually very sad, especially when you don't have a group of people that know who you are truly. So the person that they're in love with is not actually who you are. So
that's why
you kind of feel like, but then if I show someone my true self, would they still want to be my friend? Or a lot of people have that fear and then they hide it
because you've been used to performing for so long.
Yeah, that's why I've noticed a lot of people have different friendship groups, because they're different aspects of them. So do you know what I mean? Like, just because I can relate with that. I have different friendship groups because they're different sides of me. You know, so I can be this person, I can also be this person, but it's all me. I can't say I'm not anybody else. Do you know what I mean? So that's another thing with identifying with yourself. Don't feel like you have to only be with a certain type of person, like people, and you find yourself just doing other things that you find interesting that they might not find interesting. That doesn't mean you're not being yourself. It just means there's another part of you, and that's fine. You just have to find a group of crowd that will accept that. That's literally the number one rule. As long as you're not being somebody else or pretending to be something you're not, I think you'll be fine.
Yeah. What about you, Ash? What
Powerful.
have you learned?
Oh yeah, Ashley.
What have I learned? I would say this year that I'm more emotional than I think.
Oh my god, that is a.
I could have told you that. I'm joking.
Not this girl burst not laughing. She cackled.
Because I'm just like, okay, interesting.
Do you know what? And do you know it's gonna sound
I could have told you that too.
But it's no. Do you know what?
I understand.
I get it. Yeah.
Do you know what it is? I knew I was like emotional, but not that emotional.
To this extent.
Yeah, to that extent. I think because I'm someone where like I'm very, very strong-minded. Like I think that's something that it's not down to me. I know that's only by the grace of God.
It's grace of God,
and that's only through like having a relationship with God. But I feel like this year, God definitely brought things to surface level. I think as well, like when you suppress things for a long time and you've always had to be the strong one, it's very easy to forget like your true nature and how God actually created you.
You're preaching.
And for a long time, I always saw like being emotional as a negative thing. Like even when people describe me and my sister, like even how I used to describe me and my sister, I'll be like, oh, she's more emotional, I'm not. When really and truly, we're in the same boat. we're together in that boat. So, and learning that it's not actually a negative thing, learning how to navigate your emotions, not being dictated by them, but actually acknowledging how you feel, having that healthy balance, that's one thing that I've definitely learned. Like that's been a big key. And I think that's something that God has shown me, because you don't realize when you suppress your emotions, that naturally overflows into your spiritual walk. And I didn't realize there was a wall that I had built, like whenever I'd come to God. So I'd kind of, because I'd share like certain information with people and I'd withhold certain information, then when it came to God as well, I was doing that also. And I didn't realize I was doing that until I definitely realized I was doing that last year. And I was saying, yeah, like I'm going to change, I'm going to do it differently. But when certain situations arose, that was not being put into practice. And just learning that this year and just being comfortable and okay with being vulnerable and transparent, and it doesn't make you look weak. It doesn't make you look like there's something wrong or there's a problem. Because there's beauty in confession. There's freedom in confession, like actually saying, yeah, this is what's wrong. Like just even, for example, like me and my sister, like actually telling her like what's wrong and when I'm not okay. Like the lighter I feel afterwards, I'm like, wow, like why did it take me so long?
Like it wasn't as bad as
it's not as bad as I make, because that's one thing that I do all the time. Like say for some reason, whenever I'm upset, like it's like someone is screaming here, like I want to say I'm upset, but I can't. Like it's not coming out. So I don't want to get
Oh, Ashley, give me your hands. Oh, very. I can't reach.
Yeah, don't worry.
I promise it's not sad tears.
Yeah,
I get you, man.
It's just like, I don't know, the mind is so powerful.
Oh, God, free me.
It's
so powerful.
Honestly, if it wasn't for God, oh my gosh,
I tell people all the time I'd be naked.
I'd be on the street naked,
naked and afraid.
Because it's so crazy. Like I feel like sometimes I have like an out of body experience. Like I want to say when something's wrong, but my mind won't let me.
Yeah,
like it's here.
Yeah,
it's literally here.
It's here.
And I just think coming out of that and just knowing that there's some people that are still going through that, it makes me sad. But
every single day,
it's happy tears. Like I'm happy.
Yeah, because of the realization, and the growth, knowing that it's okay.
Like I actually feel free.
I'm proud.
It's the growth.
I'm happy for you.
I'm happy too. I promise, it's happy tears.
No, man,
because honestly, being in your head is never. Like we said, the mind is so powerful that if you don't open your mouth, it can seem like that is it.
Yeah.
Like this is the hill that I'm, God forbid, gonna die on.
You don't realise it keeps you in a prison.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you think you're over it, and then it isn't until like later on down the line, it comes to surface again.
Yeah.
And you're like, what is going on? And I've realised that happens. I definitely saw the transition, like obviously when I was single and then getting into a relationship, you think you've dealt with certain things.
Right.
Why are you saying what I'm about to say?
And not just like things that have happened in the past of like past relationships, but just life in general.
And yourself.
Yeah, it comes to surface and you're like, whoa, I'm not as solid as I thought I was.
Right.
Pull up.
P.O.P.
Right.
Pull up.
Things are getting a bit too loud.
Mate.
Like, no, sorry, I have to touch on them because that's literally what I want to say. I want to say, so obviously, this is my first full year being just Ayo, no man. Like,
sorry, the way you said that.
why did you say that? You guys, no, I don't know how I speak like this, guys. But so I became properly single, like last year. And so this is the first full year it's just been me. And do you know what's so crazy? I'm very self-aware, so I knew like the flaws that I exhibited in that prior relationship. I was very aware of them. And then I'm feeling like months are going by, I'm thinking I'm growing. I'm thinking I'm healing. Do you know what I mean? I'm thinking, wow, Ayo, you're
thinking I'm growing.
I'm thinking I'm growing.
So what happened?
I'm thinking, wow, Ayo.
So like you are growing.
Genuinely, like, of course, in some ways, definitely, yeah. I'm definitely like, obviously, you lose the feelings for the person. Like you're growing and you're learning or whatever. And I'm thinking I'm good. Do you get what I mean? Then things just start to happen. People will be talking to you. You'll be talking to them. Weeks are passing, you're thinking, what's going on here? My mind is going funny. Like, I'm just not, I'm not there. Like,
Tell me your face.
No, because I'm taking it in.
She's spitting facts.
No, real, like, I'm not there. Like, and then it happens again. And I'm like, okay, but Ayo, what's the problem here? Because evidently there's something wrong. And that's why I said at the beginning, I'm learning, I'm not okay. And I'm going to be fine. But
I know
the way I speak, I know it makes...
Why do you do that?
It makes people laugh, but I'm being very serious.
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
You will be okay.
But I will. I just think what I'm realizing is, as much as I'm someone that's so self-aware, I don't deal with my problem. I've dealt with it, but I haven't dealt with it. Like, I have a lot of unprocessed problem. I don't know how to explain it.
I get what you're saying.
I'm aware that there's something wrong. I don't know how to articulate what's wrong. I don't know exactly what is wrong.
But you know something's there.
I just know
happening.
something's wrong. And it's just been like this for so many years and I just don't know what it is. And then I've been able to move past it after a certain time, then it'll creep up again, then it'll go. I don't know what it is. Pray for me, guys.
Have you guys ever considered therapy?
Yes.
I'm heavily considering it because I think if not, I'm thinking if not, this.
I want to start it before this year ends. You know,
same.
I'm not gonna lie, I would.
One of my really close friends, he mentioned it to me and he said, "Ayo, have you considered it?" So I said, yeah, I think I need to do that.
Yeah.
I genuinely think I need to, because even this year, like I was thinking to myself, I think a lot of things happened to me when I was younger and I I just haven't talked to, like, I don't know. Yeah. So I just need to talk.
What about you, Tim? Would you?
Of course, definitely.
Well, our psychologist is in the building.
Stop.
Tell me, you should even be our therapist. What's going on?
No, I didn't study therapy. Sorry.
True, she studied psychology.
I studied therapy.
Right,
I studied social psychology.
I hear you, sis.
Don't
Don't
worry.
worry.
Sorry.
Don't worry. We won't force you to do that one.
I definitely have considered therapy. I think everyone should consider
I
therapy.
think everyone needs to do therapy.
And the thing is, people see therapy as like it's a last resort. Nah, more time. It's even better to be in therapy before something mad happens to you, because at least you'll then have the verbiage and the vocabulary and the emotional intelligence to deal with it better.
And a lot of people have different reasons for going to therapy. I don't think I have a particular reason for going. I just want to explore different things about my life, things that I know I've suppressed.
I want to talk
because I love. Oh my god, I'm the queen of suppression.
I want to understand.
Oh my god,
I want to understand why I attach to people the way I do. Like, why I commute. Like,
I need to know. Please.
I need to just get to the root of it. I think having that discussion with someone
that's not my friend. Exactly.
Yeah. So I think sometimes when you communicate with your friends, like, in comparison to like a therapist will like pick out the little things that you say that you don't realize, like why you think the way you think. Right. So and I need that. I need it right now.
I need it now. Because and I'm going to a Christian one personally. The only reason I'm going to a Christian one is I want to see it through the lens of Jesus. I don't want to see anything through the lens of new age rubbish that they're doing out there. But apart from that, like,
I don't. I'm going there. You're telling me, or have you considered what your sunrise is or whatever it is?
Have you opened your third eye?
No, is that no?
No, but anyways, let me not do that one. The reason I want to do
we're joking.
Yeah, the reason I want to do it that way is because I also want someone that's not just taking my money, but they're not really doing anything. Like, obviously, you can find real good therapists. Actually, I'm not opposed to having a therapist that's not Christian, but I would like them to be a Christian as well.
Prefer.
Just for consistency reasons, I feel like that's my life. I'm a Christian, so that's my.
And preference. For people who want to do therapy, you don't know where to start. You might not have the funds. There's someone on Instagram called Dr. Caroline Leaf. She's a Christian, but she's also a scientist, a therapist. She's phenomenal.
A scientist, a therapist.
Yeah, I've read her book. Her book is just. Look into her. I don't even need to say too much. As soon as you go onto her page, you'll know what I'm talking about, and that's the last thing I'll say there.
And also, like, one thing people don't know is that the Bible talks about mental health. Obviously, it talks about it in a very different way to how we're used to it now, and she helps you to see the ways that the links between the Bible and our mental health and science, and how everything works together,
and how science is basically catching up.
Yeah, science.
The Bible has been saying
science
it.
Only catching up to Jesus, and they'll never catch up because they're late.
But behind schedule.
They're late.
This has been a very therapeutic episode.
I loved it.
I've had a release.
Do you know what's crazy as well?
Me crying on camera. Are you dumb?
I know, I'm proud of you. The thing, because she would never do that.
It.
I think you need to know that.
Even if I did do it before, I would have told her to delete the
100%,
clip out of there.
100%. And also,
you never know. I still might tell her to do it.
No, I was waiting for her to say that. I'm joking.
I just want to say.
She said no. She said you don't. She said you don't even. Who are you talking to?
I'm not even gonna hear it. What was I gonna say?
Done.
Oh yeah, the day that this drops, it's gonna be just the day before the start of Mental Health Awareness Week, and I think that's powerful because obviously
Holy Spirit,
nobody.
I think it's the 10th.
Yeah, no, it's from the 2nd to the 8th or something like that.
Are you sure?
Because I was doing that at work. Like
So
I was trying to plan an event. To be fair, it could be the whole month. I don't know.
Is it? Yeah.
But when I googled it, it was the first week of the month.
Okay.
So obviously this drops on Sunday, which is I think it's the 1st of October. Oh, it's the 2nd of October.
It's the 2nd of October.
Oh yeah, so it's the beginning of Mental Health Awareness Week, from what I remember. There's Google. Okay. There's always Google. But yeah, no, and I think there's
2nd of October.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and I think there's a reason why. Like, I felt like I don't know. I just want people to know that, you listen, guys. There's a difference between mental health and mental illness. One, everybody has a mental health. Everybody needs to take care of their mental health. But anytime that you're not taking care of your mental health, it can translate into mental illness. I just need everybody to hear that.
That's the perfect differentiation.
Yeah? Because I think sometimes people talk about
everybody
mental illness.
has this.
Everybody has a mental health. Everybody has to take care of their mental health, and I think people use the term mental health and mental illness interchangeably, and they're different things. So just remember that it's okay if you're struggling mentally. We all do at different points. Like that's what we've showed you in this episode, and we just want you to know that there's help out there. Obviously, I believe Jesus can take care of us as well. So if you're a Christian, you can pray about it, but also do the prayer turns into practice. I saw somebody tweet that faith without works is dead, as we all know. So thank you for coming to our therapy session today.
Yeah,
we hope you enjoyed.
Thank you for
and do something that after this video, we want you guys to do something that makes you happy.
Yeah,
maybe watch a film, take a bath, go do your toenails, do pedicure, manicure,
listen to some Afro beats,
put on some gospel music. Just have a pause at the moment.
And thank you for sitting down with the sisters.
Thank you. We'll see you on our next episode.
Bye.